Hey guys, I've just got some video clips from the past fours on Saturday, and we're just going to have a look at a few things and see what went right and what went wrong. So I'm just going to play through the clip, have a look, then I'm going to play it again and talk over the top of it, maybe stop it a few times and see what happens. So I hope you had fun on Saturday. It wasn't great results wise, I think, but we can learn something, I think. So let's have a go.
Guys, you can bring it forward 5 meters, yeah? Just there, just there. Thank you, sorry. Oh, obstruction, guys. Tap ball back 10 on your line, guys. Come on. There, pass.
Yeah, so there's a few things about this clip, probably about 4 things actually. The first thing is when they get over the line like this and then there's a touch made, and what happens, the referee says something about it which is incorrect, and we need to respond to the situation that's actually happened a bit better. The second bit is after the play the ball is made, the positioning of the players leads to a obstruction call and a penalty against us. And then third is the response from the player with the ball when the penalty is given against us, and then and that also plays back into the responding to what the referee says when we have something go against us as well. So when the referee blows his whistle, the 4 players or the 6 players in a real game should understand what's going to happen and where they should be. So we'll just have a little look at this in small pieces. So see, at this point Muli has made the touch on the guy who's over the line, and that's good chasing back and defending even when they look like they're going to score. You realise he's the dummy half, so make the touch. That's good play. But we see this opposition player pass the ball. Now touch and then pass is obviously a touch pass, which should be a penalty. But then we hear the referee say touch on the ball, half court. Now his correct call should be touch and pass, which is a penalty to us. Now if we're on top of it, we should say to the ref, hey, that's a touch and pass. We just say that one time, and if he listens to us, then good. If he doesn't, play on.
Guys, you can bring it forward 5 meters, yeah? Just there. Thank you, sorry. Oh.
Now the problem here is we've got penalised for obstruction, which is there's a few people at fault. Muli has wandered to the right of the play the ball after playing the ball, and he should be going straight ahead, walking straight ahead to look for the next plant. When he walks to the right, he's walked into the area where Wendy has run, and Wendy has basically run behind him and kept Muli between her and the defending player. So the penalty was justified, no problem with it. We've just got to be careful about, after we've played the ball, our best bet is just 1, 2, 3 steps forward, and then we're in a good position to pick up the ball next time. And the runner, Wendy, should be running straight, not this sideways stuff. There's a lot of open space there, and it's attractive to try and run like that, and it works in some stages, in some cases, but in this case it's worked against us, so we can work on that.
Obstruction, guys.
So we have Wendy running, and we have the ref running the opposite direction. Wendy sees this and doesn't respond in the best fashion. When you see the ref running back like that, we should be somewhat aware that we've done something wrong, and obstruction is a pretty obvious thing usually. Even if it's not, we can see the ref running that way, it's not good for us. So our first response should be to stop, and our second response should be to get back as quickly as possible. Running on is dangerous for the following reasons.
That ball back 10 on your line, guys. Come on. There, pass.
The next clip is from a defensive situation. The view is from a long way away, so it's not very easy to see, but you should be able to pick up where the players are. Just make sure you don't confuse the ref with one of our players because he's wearing a blue shirt. A simple case of one player not getting into position and not covering. So we'll just have a look at this. So you can see John on defense there is doing all the work. He's running around and stopping people and making touches, which is great. But then to his right is Pongfei, and he's running around like a headless chicken, and not covering his man and not covering his space. So we're just going to break this down piece by piece and just see what should happen. Now at this point, not much has gone wrong. John is going to make the touch. Pongfei is close enough so that if a pass is made, he can be on defense, and also not too close so that he negates the fact that there's two players there, which we'll see later on. We'll see two defenders right on top of each other, which makes two players into one. When you've only got 4 players and you're making 2 into 1, that leaves you with 3 players. Not the best situation. So we'll just see how this proceeds from here. Now John's made the touch and he's chased back. Now there is a problem with chasing back here. We shouldn't be chasing the player when we make the touch. We should be getting back. That's our first priority. Now it's difficult to explain. John has made the touch and then he's turned around and chased the player. We should be making the touch and getting back. That should be our focus, getting back, not chasing the player. If we're getting back, we should be in a position where the player can't go anywhere unless they've got a very good scoop on us. So there's a little bit of adjustment just to the strategy there. But the real problem is Pongfei, who has drifted to the right. And there's a big gap opening up between the two players, which we will see in the next clip. Now you can see where Pongfei is. He's looking at the dummy half, and John's covering the dummy half. So Pongfei is about to zoom in on the dummy half and be right in John's space. So there's going to be 2 players on the dummy half. Leaves the second player open. Now let's look at this at quarter speed. We'll have a look here. John is moving up to make the touch. It's quite good to look at this because the move is pretty simple, but it's effective. You know, if you can get 2 players onto one person, that's what you want to do to create the space. But the defenses really should be tighter than this. So let's just walk through this at quarter speed and see what we can see. So we've got John moving up to make the touch. You can't even see the dummy half. Here's the dummy half coming into view now. John makes the touch, and the planter goes left. You see him step off like that. John chases the planter, dummy half scoops, Pongfei reacts, chases the dummy half. The planter cuts and the pass is made. We've got two people on the left, they've got the scorer on the right. So pretty simple move, and the defending should really catch this. It should be, let's go through it again and just say what should happen, and see if we can learn from it. So here, John makes a touch. He should be going back toward the left because Pongfei is there. He should be going straight back. Now when this gap opens up, Pongfei should react, just drifting in there a little bit, leaving the dummy half alone because John's got him, and he would still be there to make that touch. We're at a tap off here. This one is, the action isn't easy to see, but the key point is right at the start of the clip. We see a tap off and we see the defenders up very quickly for some reason. This is something we can look at just to be in control of the game and in control of the start, and just be aware of what's going on, really. So let's have a look again, and I'll stop it. Now we hear the whistle go, the referee blows his whistle, and at that point we're looking at the ball and we want to tap it and we want to go. But we should also have one eye on the defense. If we see the defense inside the 10, or if we see the defense moving, we shouldn't tap the ball. We should just hold on to it. We can see when the ref blows the whistle, the defense starts moving up. So that would be called offside if we didn't tap. So we've just got to be aware and maybe just not tap. Here's another example of the same thing. Just watch the defenders. The ref blows his whistle and they're moving, they're stopping, they're starting. We should just not tap the ball. Just wait till they're stationary. Now this is just a case of subbing. When we're looking to sub, we should be coming off at this point here. Right now we're right next to the subs box. These two boys should be running off. Two new boys should be running on. Instead, we get a lot of standing around. There's guys standing around on the sideline. No, they should be running, and the guys on the field should be off. So this is how not to do it.
Stop. Stop. Make it one meter backward. Make it 1 meter. No, wait.
This one's pretty simple. We've got two instances of Muli dummy half. This one he's not dummy half, he passes it. But this one here, he gets caught. So the referee should be pulling you up every time for that. But you got away with one. Good on you. And just to finish on a happy note, here's the... I think I got 2 tries recorded on video, but this is the only one I could find for some reason. Anyway. Hope you had fun. I'll see you on the field, eh? Yeah, I know I was saying John and John wasn't there. I know. Shut up.